Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Sanai Takaichi has won a historic vote to become Japan's first female prime minister. The 64-year-old conservative is known as Japan's Iron Lady, a nickname given to her due to her admiring UK's former Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. This is her third attempt at becoming Japan's leader, and she's the fourth Prime Minister in 5 years from her scandal-hit party, the LDP. A man who shot and seriously injured the Slovakian Prime Minister, Robert Fico, in an attack last year has been sentenced to 21 years in prison after being found guilty of terrorism. Jurai Suntila, a 72-year-old pensioner, fired 5 shots at the Prime Minister in May 2024 when he was on a visit to Handlova, around 112 miles from the capital Bratislava. The gunman shot Fico at extremely close range just as he was reaching out to shake his hand, thinking he was a supporter. US Vice President J.D. Vance has arrived in Israel as part of the Trump administration's efforts to strengthen the Gaza ceasefire agreement. He is expected to push the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to start negotiations on long-term issues for a permanent end to the war with Hamas. The 2 special US envoys who helped negotiate the deal, Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, also held talks with Mr. Netanyahu on Monday.
Well, Jared's the investor here. I'm not going to give you a percentage, but look, what we've seen the past week gives me great optimism the ceasefire is going to hold. And if we get from where we were a week ago to a long-term durable peace between Israel and Gaza, there are going to be hills and valleys. There are going to be moments where it looks like things aren't going particularly well. But given that, and given the history of conflict, I think that everybody should be proud of where we are today.
As far as the demilitarization goes, once the ISF is up, there needs to be a security force that they can feel safe from, that in order for it to be the transition to be complete. So that needs to happen. There are considerations happening now in the area that the IDF controls, as long as that can be secured to start the construction as a new Gaza, in order to give the Palestinians living in Gaza a place to go, a place to get jobs, a place to live. So that's one of the many things being considered. Right now, again, there's been several work streams that have occurred over the last years. Those are all being synthesized and updated here at the center, and then they'll go before President Trump and the Board of Peace to get recommendations on what to build, how to phase it, but that's definitely something now that's being very strongly considered.
Nicolas Sarkozy has become the first French ex-president to go to jail as he starts a 5-year sentence for conspiring to fund his election campaign with money from the late Libyan dictator Muammar Gaddafi. Sarkozy, who was president from 2007 to 2012, has appealed against his jail term at La Santé prison, where he will occupy a cell roughly measuring 9 square meters. More than 100 people stood outside his villa in the exclusive 16th district in Paris to show their support. A preliminary report into last month's funicular crash in Lisbon that killed 16 people has detailed a litany of failings. Portugal's Air and Rail Accident Investigations Bureau said an underground cable, which acted as a counterweight between 2 carriages, broke, causing the crash. They said it was defective and had never been certified for passenger transportation. A drone attack has hit an area near the international airport in Sudan's capital, Khartoum, a day before it was set to resume domestic flights for the first time since war broke out in 2023. Residents of the city reported hearing explosions in several districts early on Tuesday morning. Social media images appear to show a series of blasts. There is no information on casualties or damage, and no one has claimed responsibility. A tornado has torn through Val d'Oise, north of Paris, toppling construction cranes, damaging properties and uprooting trees in its path. 1 person was killed and 4 others critically injured, authorities said. The town, around 20 kilometers north of Paris, was hardest hit by the sudden twister, which caused damage in multiple districts. And parts of the White House's East Wing have been demolished as construction begins on US President Donald Trump's new ballroom. Construction crews tore down massive chunks of a covered entryway and windows in the East Wing, which Mr. Trump said is being fully modernized. The president previously said his $250 million White House ballroom would be near the existing structure but would not change it. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.